Hello, my name's Cheryl Brooke. In this video tutorial I'm going to show you how to complete and submit your timesheet. First of all, you need to collect timesheets. If you're based at the University Hospital, you come down to the Central Resource Unit. This is the doorway, and just walk in and collect a couple of the yellow timesheets from this box. You don't need to let anyone know that you're coming, but we just ask that you take a couple at a time. If you're based at the McKellar Centre, you can collect timesheets from DeForest House outside Human Resources in business hours. This is what the timesheet looks like. That's the front, and here's the back of it. Now, here's some more detailed information into how to complete it. There's a couple of things you don't need to do. You don't need to deliver it to your manager personally. You just drop it into a drop box, which I'll talk about a bit later on. And you don't need to print your manager's name and extension number. Now, to complete the timesheet, it's divided into 2 weeks, and you just fill it out for the applicable day and week that you work. The first thing you need to do is complete your employee details clearly. That's your employee name, your employee number, and the pay period dates. It's important that the pay period dates are there, because then the Central Resource Unit team know exactly when they need to complete your timesheet. The pay period dates are available on the CASCOM news page, and all the casual staff are on the MPay. There's a separate tutorial about the CASCOM news page as well. Lastly, you need to sign your timesheet before you submit it. Now, to complete it in more detail, firstly you need to add the date of the applicable shift, the actual start time, and the actual stop time. Now, the system assumes that you've had a half an hour meal break after 5 hours, unless you tell it any differently. For your first shift that you work, your orientation shift and any other orientation shifts, you would write the code INDT in this column, and that stands for induction. Otherwise you leave that column blank. Now you put the daily hours, and very often that'll be 7.6 hours for a casual shift. So the 7 hours and 36 minutes equals 7.6 hours. Then you need to put the cost centre of the ward that you're working on. So in other words, you're costing your services out to the ward that you're working on. The cost centres are also available on the CASCOM news page, or you can ask the ward staff when you're there what the cost centre is. Now, if you do work any hours that are different from what's in CASCOM, you need to complete a variation form. This is what the variation form looks like. You would complete your employee name clearly, your employee number, and then you need to get the ward to fill out the details as per the example above. It's very important that the signature of the NUM or the ANUM or the in charge person is on the form, and then they clearly print their name as well. If a declaration is not completed, you'll not be paid for any hours that differ from the CASCOM system. So if what's on your yellow timesheet doesn't match what's in CASCOM, and there's not one of these variation forms attached, we just pay what's on CASCOM. The variation forms are available from outside the Central Resource Unit in this box here, or alternatively they're available on the CASCOM news page to print off. Lastly, you need to submit your timesheet. If you're working your last shift at the University Hospital Geelong, you pop it into the timesheet box, which is on the locked timesheet box outside the Central Resource Unit. Or alternatively, if your last shift is at McKellar Centre, there's a locked box outside DeForest House. Thank you for your attention.